hope you're doing good. Today, the date is 17th March 2025. The time is 7:21 p.m. 19:21 p.m. I'll be talking about my experiments with happiness. So, ever since I was growing up for many years, until probably 1 year back or 2 years back max, I always had this huge void, this empty feeling, a very restless feeling that something is missing. I was never really able to explain it properly, but it made me do all sorts of things in my life. Thinking that if I maybe do this or achieve this, I'll be a happy person. So, oh my god, I wrote this in 2023, 13th August 2023. So, I've thought about happiness. It's an essay. I'm just going to read it out. I've asked many people about happiness, about being content, and what it means to them. As I've thought about this, I meditated and I learned a little bit of non duality. First, I'll mention the places where I looked for lasting happiness, but I didn't find it. The ego, the concept of myself, has always been a hopeless romantic. It gave itself the idea that true fulfillment would lie in finding a romantic relationship. And so I spent time figuring out girls with all sorts of expectations in the mind. And if those expectations were not met, there wouldn't be much more talking. Just like that, I used to settle onto a relationship, and after some time, that rush used to go away. That fire, you get in the start of the relationship, that honeymoon phase, it used to go away. And my expectations used to start coming in. And then, when the expectations are not met, there's negativity, there's non-acceptance. That leads to lows in the relationship. And when expectations are met, it leads to highs. And so, when you're attached to the idea of a certain kind of a person and your expectations are met, it's good, it's very good. But when it's not met, it's just that bad. So I realized with time that a person cannot make you happy, a relationship cannot make you happy. It just cannot. No matter how much you try, a singular person cannot give you contentment in life. They can give you a lot, but being absolutely content from within. Society, which is vastly now controlled by greed, convinces minds into thinking that happiness lies in some sort of mind-made concept of money. Money is just a concept created by the mind, right? While it can provide physical safety and freedom to do anything in the physical world, it does not and cannot bring fulfillment. Any amount of money you earn, you will get used to. Why? Because just like any other mind-made concepts, its existence is limited to our minds, our belief. That's where it's made. A lot of it is just mental masturbation. People say, when I earn a certain amount of money, I'll be happy. Oh, that is bullshit. You will not. Just do it for yourself and see. When I was a kid, I was much more on that spoiled side. Everything I asked for, I used to get it. So I just basically lost with time an interest in things. I'm not saying having good things is bad. Sure, man, do what you want to do. But don't think that it's going to make you happy and fulfilled. No, it's just the cherry on top. We have outcomes of situations in our lives that we think will give us happiness. Any outcome, no matter how desirable, your ego will get used to it. You will get used to it. Why? Because the ego always wants more. It's a phantom entity in the head. Something is never enough. It wants excess. If you live by it, it needs excess. I'm not sure what I meant when I wrote these lines down, but all these things will rent you happiness but not buy it, so that it is yours to keep. Then what leads to happiness? And this is what I learned. The end of thinking leads to happiness. The end of thinking leads to the end of all judgment and conditional happiness. Let that sink in. The end of thinking leads to the end of all judgment in the world, all expectations. You are expecting things only when you're thinking, right? This is the simplest way I can put all that stuff I read in the Gita and the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra and the Power of Now and some Zen books or whatever. So, if you're pleased looking only at sunsets, by ceasing thought, your conditional pleasure of looking at sunsets will disappear. You can now be pleased looking at anything. And then there's this quote I've written: how beautiful must the moon be for someone who hasn't seen it? How beautiful must bright blue skies be for someone who only gets to see sunsets? Joy is as much a choice as sitting or standing, except it's effortless. Joy is effortless. It takes energy to think, it burns calories. Think a lot and you'll get saturated, tired. Stop your thinking and you'll be filled with life. The Western civilization has always told us that, a pursuit of something makes us happy, something outside of ourselves, but that's not true. When those Britishers went to America to colonize that place or whatever, the Native Americans there, the Red Indians, people call them, they always spoke about this certain kind of a restlessness in the eyes of the white people. They were always seeking something. So yeah, the essay is over. I could have written more, but I did not. So yeah, this is basically how you can be happy in life, is what I learned. It's by not thinking. How do we do that? There are like 112 different methods in Hinduism that teach us how to meditate. So yeah, you can just learn meditation, I would say. And when I say meditation, I'm not talking about just closing your eyes and sitting in a room. I'm talking about learning to silence thoughts. Let the mind run and observe it, and let it just stop. So that you're just present and aware, and you're not judging anything. You don't have any expectations in life. And so you can just be free from all constraints and attachments and be happy. This is what I learned, and this is what helped me deal with that void inside. Sometimes it does come back, but compared to earlier, I used to experience it every day. So life is much better now. This video is probably the longest one, but I'm not sure if I'll even publish it. But I'll just still see. Cheers. Good day.